Hi students, I hope all are fine. So we were dealing with the chapter The Lost Child by Mulkaraj Anand. And in the last class we found the boy wanted so many things from the fair, but his parents could not, or his parents did not pay attention to him. Okay, so now they are going to enter the fair and we shall see what happens to the boy. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Okay, so as they were making their way through the mustard fields, they had only one narrow path. But as the boy was about to reach, he could see so many paths converging to the fair. Okay, there were so many paths coming from different directions to the fair, and the boy was standing there, and he was very fascinated to feel the world in which he was going to enter. A sweet meat a seller hawked gulab jamun, rasagula, bufi jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed around his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open eyed, and his mouth watered for the bufi that was his favorite sweet. I want that burfi, he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Okay, so as he entered, he found a sweet meat seller. He was saying the names of so many sweets like gulab jamun, rasagula, burfi, jalebi, and so on. And this boy could see so many people moving towards him in order to buy them. And this boy's mouth watered and he wanted to buy that. So he murmured in his mind, saying, oh, he murmured slowly, I want the burfi because that was his favorite. But he well knew that his parents would not buy and give. So what did he do? He did not tell his parents, but he moved on. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland. But he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Okay, so first he saw the sweet seller, now he sees a flower seller. The flower seller was selling garland, and this boy, when he saw that, he was really taken away it and he wanted to possess that. And he said in his mind, I want that garland. But he knew that his parents would not buy and give because they would say it is very cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, this boy moved on. He did not wait for any answer from his parents but moved on. Then, what happened? A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. So the third thing that the boy saw in the fair was this, that a man was carrying a pole with so many balloons, different colors of balloons in it. So the boy wanted to possess them all. Okay, all the balloons the boy wanted to possess. But what happened? The boy also knew that his parents would say, okay, you are too old to play with balloons and so on. So there is no, we will not buy and give you. So the boy knew this answer. Because of that, he did not wait for any answer. He did not tell his parents also, but he walked on further. Then a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan. While the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. Okay, so the next thing the boy saw was there was a snake charmer who was playing the flute, and there were snakes in his basket, coiled in the basket, just like its a head and so just like that of a swan. Okay, so this snake charmer played the flute and it made a music. So boy just went there, and what did he do? He wanted to stay there for some more time, but he knew his parents had already forbidden him going to such places or hearing such music. So what did he do? He further moved on. He carried on further. Then there was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout, please, father, mother. Okay, so the next thing that the boy could not resist was a roundabout. So he found that there was a roundabout in full swing where all the women, men, children, everybody was going. So now the boy could not resist his emotions. So he made a bold request saying, "See, I want to go to that roundabout. Please, father and mother." There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, he turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. Okay, so what happens now? Now, when the boy made a bold request to the parents, first he had kept everything to himself. He was looking at all the things that were happening around, but he did not tell his parents. He thought his parents were with him and he was just moving on. But now, when he made a bold request, he realized that his parents were not by his side. They were not in front of him, they were not behind him, they were not in the side of him. So the this boy was very, very upset and sad. A full, deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, "Mother, father!" Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither, in all directions, knowing not where to go. "Mother, father!" he wailed. His yellow turban became untied and his clothes became muddy. Okay, so what happened? The boy realized that he was lost. He lost his parents. His parents lost him. So by crying, he ran here and there, he ran everywhere searching for his parents. He was crying like anything because he was in real fear. Okay, he had so many people standing there except his parents. So this boy was very, very frightened. So he ran everywhere to look for them, but he could not find. Okay, and his turban became untied and his clothes became muddy, and this boy was in real fear. Okay, So in the next class we will see whether this boy will be able to find out his parents, or this boy will be lost forever. All those things we'll see in the next class. So as a worksheet, what you have to do is, what would have been the feelings of the boy when he understood that he was lost. Okay, so when this boy found that he was lost, what would have been his feelings? So write his feelings and complete the worksheet. So I hope today's class is clear to you. Thank you and bye.